When people think of a nice house, they always think of a celebrity-like mansion, or they think of a 5,000 square foot home, or something very expensive like $1 million home. But I am here today to show you that is not true. I have an actual project that I worked on where we took a very modest facade that looked like this into something that looked like this. Because good design, it's not about money and it's not about size. It's about very meticulous way of designing. It's about picking the right design principles. It's about just tweaking a few things here and there, and then you have a nice house. So I want to start as usual by giving you a context. This project is actually in Australia, and the reason why I started my video with that statement that a nice house doesn't mean a celebrity mansion, because when the client first emailed me, he emailed me directly to my email and he said, hey, I have this house and I need help with my facade. And then this is after we got on a call, and then he told me, I realized after sending you the email that you have a website. And he's like, when I saw your website, I was like, oh my God, I'm trying to find a way to cancel the email because I knew that you're not going to respond and there's no way that you're going to be working with me, because look at all these houses, these $1 million homes that you're designing. Like, there's no way you're going to work on this. And I told him, I'm so glad you didn't cancel the email, because those houses that are on my website, it's because I helped my clients to get to that level. Those houses are not all of them are $1 million. Some of them are, just because in the US it's very expensive to build, etc., etc. But a lot of them is just good design principles. So today I want to show you how we took this to this with just very simple steps. Okay, we didn't change a lot in terms of the bones of the building or the structure of it, but we added a few things here and there. So let me share the plan first. Okay, I'm sharing my screen here. So let's start diagnosing this facade first. So when I first look at this facade, there are a few things that just jump out of me. And there are quite a few of them, but I just want to categorize them into the big thing, kind of the middle thing, and like the secondary thing. And I want you to think of this as like a meal. When you have a meal, the main thing in your meal should be your protein, right? It's like the piece of meat or chicken, or if you're vegan, whatever, the piece of thing that has a protein portion. And then you have the protein, which is the main thing. Then you have your carbs, which also take quite a big portion of your meal. And then you have your sauces. These are things that are nice to have, and they really are like the cherry on the top, and they do make a difference, but they are the sauce. So when you're analyzing a facade, I don't want you to be looking at the sauces at the beginning. I want you to first look at the big protein portion, okay? So when I say the protein here in a facade version, I mean the roof. So let's look at this roof. This roof looks just beat. You can tell that this is an old roof, that it's been going through a lot, and I don't know when was the last time they changed it, but it had to go, okay? So the roof is something that really can date your facade. They can quickly tell that, that building is old, because when you think about it, a roof is actually the biggest portion of your house. It covers the biggest surface, and also it's the one that is experiencing a lot of wear and tear. It's experiencing a lot of sun, experiencing a lot of snow, it's experiencing rain, it's expanding with heat, it's shrinking when it's cold. So there's just a lot of movement and just a lot of wear and tear, as I said. So that's the big portion. Protein, roof. So for your roof, you put that in the category of a protein, okay? So second protein portion is your windows. The windows are just the face of the facade. These are openings that you just cannot miss. They're not the sauces. You see them right there. They're just staring back at you. So when you look at the windows of this building, you got one kind of large window, you got kind of these two windows here, you got one small one here. They're all just mismatched, and they're just all over the place. There's no hierarchy. There's no rhythm to them. Okay, so that's the second part of the protein portion. Now let's move to your carbs. Your carbs are still very important. Remember, they're a big percentage of your meal. So the carbs in this instance is your material. Your facade here, it's a brick facade. Now, a lot of people like brick, some people don't. I like it in certain contexts, like a British countryside or something like that. But in Australia, I don't know if brick is the right material for your facade. So that's also not really helping the situation here. The other thing that you can really see in this facade is the stairs. These stairs and this railing is just not it. It feels like an afterthought. I 100% guarantee you it's an afterthought. And it just looks like a spaceship just came in, it dropped these stairs, and it left. Like, where'd this come from? How about the railings? I don't see these guardrails or these rails anywhere here. So there's no architectural language to them. And the last thing for the sauces is your gutter. The gutter is something that a lot of people miss. It's like a sauce. You might not notice that it's even there, or you might notice it's there, but when you really look closely and you're talking to a chef, they can tell you all about the sauce. So the gutter is, again, it's kind of a secondary thing, but it really can hurt the facade. And this gutter here is just very beat. I don't know how old it is again. This awning here is also not helping very much. It just looks like there is some chipping, it's old, and it's not a good look. So now that we kind of diagnosed all the issues that are going on with this facade, I'm gonna go through the solutions and how to fix it. But before we go there, I just wanna show you something that I kind of combined. It's a guide that I've worked on over the years, and where I put every single tip and trick that I use for my facades, and it's literally something that I have, like, I have a copy of it, and I keep it on my desk when I'm designing, and it has all these materials and tricks and tips of things to do, types of cladding and everything. And whenever I receive a project or a facade, I have this on the side, and I'm like flipping through it and see, okay, I can use this tip, I can use that. So it's something that I put together for myself, but now I'm putting it out there for you if you want to use it. And I'm going to leave a link down below if you want to look into it. And I'm going to leave a quick kind of a slideshow of what it has and all the modules that's in there. Now back to the solutions and this project. So let me show you what it looks like after I designed it. So now let's start with the roof. The roof is, the client already purchased it before he reached out to me. He said he got like some metal roof or something, and we had to go with this material. So this is the roof. The roof is a big portion again. It's gonna be the first thing that stand out, and it's gonna be the first thing that's gonna date you. It's like, when you think about it, they always say the neck and the hands never lie about the age, because these two parts are the first part that age, because with your face you can always have cream, sunscreen and stuff, but the neck and the hands are always gonna give it off. It's exactly the same thing with the roof. The roof, it has to be better, it has to be metal, or just nice clean shingles or whatever, because I mean, metal can work in certain climates, it doesn't in other climates. So it just depends on where you are, and just talk to your architect and about the best materiality and the best color. But in this case, this is already something that he purchased before in that exact color, so we went with that. Okay, so now let me tell you a little bit about the plan. Probably I should have done that before, but that's fine. So if you notice here, the building is right here, right? And then you have the stairs coming down. So when you look at the site plan, the building ends here, and you have the stairs coming this way. But the client, since he was already doing a renovation, he said, why not add two boxes out here? You see how it says proposed addition? So you end up kind of having this U-V shape here in the middle. So he was also debating, should the entrance then be here, and then that's where you have your door, or should we push the entrance here and then you have the door? Anyways, that's another discussion for a plan-wise. It's not really relevant to the facade, but that's why you'll probably see here that I have two options where I have the door is kind of forward and then the door is pushed to the back. But again, that's not a facade discussion. The other very important thing about roofs is that this one here is a gabled roof. Okay, so these two are very kind of nuanced types of roofs, but it's very important that I always go with a hip roof, because I'll show you something. When you have a hip roof, your wall underneath it is always a perfect square, okay? But if you do a hip roof like how they have it here, or how the previous architect had it, so you have a gabled roof, then your wall is a triangle. And having this part here as a triangle is deadly to your facade, at least for me. Some people like it, but to me, when I have a gabled roof, that roof is going to become a hip, no questions asked. There's no room for negotiation. And the client even said, oh, do you think we should have a gabled roof, because a lot of people on the street have a gabled roof and stuff? And I said, I know a hip roof is more expensive, but a gabled is a very kind of builder grade. If your neighbors have it, do you like their homes? You probably don't. So why do you want to match your neighbors? Anyways, so I don't think just because in the street they have a lot of people have gabled roof doesn't mean that you have to go for a gabled roof. And I'm not saying that you should not respect the site, you should not respect the context of where you're building. Of course, I'm not asking you to build a Zaha Hadid curvy building in a residential neighborhood, but I mean, this little thing is not gonna break the HOA rules, whatever. So going back to the roof, so yeah, I was saying the roof, it really needs to be newer, or just it doesn't look beat up. I think I beat this idea to death. All right, moving on, we're gonna go to the windows. The windows are again a very important part, and then since the client had an issue with symmetry, so this is the previous facade that the architect gave him, and he was looking at it and he said, I don't know if I really like the symmetry, because the client was trying to lean more modern or at least transitional. And he said, well, I feel like it's just like two similar facades staring at me, and I just feel like it's not very exciting. And he said, well, I proposed to my architect to kind of change the materiality, maybe change the material on one side versus the other to give it that excitement. And I said, no, I don't think that's the right move to do. If you want to break symmetry in this situation, you don't use materiality. For one, the facade is very small. You cannot put two materials in this small facade. It just cannot handle it. If you're doing something really big, like my project that I did in Singapore before, I mean, you have all the surface in the world to add as many material as you want. But when you have a small facade, be very, very, very careful with the material that you're going to introduce to your facade. One material should be enough. You don't need more. For materials, you always need to have either one, a very big facade, or two, at least two different things that are in different planes. If the same thing are, if the two walls are on the same plane and you have the same exact windows, the eye is already kind of making an assumption, okay, this one looks exactly like this one, then why the material is not matching this material? It's confusing the eye. But when you have two different planes, then that's fine. You can do that in that case. But here, since they are in the same plane and it's a small facade, it's just a no. But you still want to break that symmetry, that's fine. You can use windows. One side we can have a bay window. It was actually his idea. He wanted to have a bay window where they can sit and, you know, read a book or something, because this was a living room. And this side, it was a bedroom or a study or an office. I don't remember exactly, but anyways, I said since that's something that we can have more, you know, like longer windows, why not switch it up with windows? And that way you can even tell that the building is symmetrical on one side, on the other side. It's still there because they're on the same plane, but at the same time they're not. Okay, so that is for the symmetry and how to break it when it comes to windows. Now let's move to carbs. So remember, the carbs I mentioned is the red brick and the stairs. So the red brick is, as I mentioned earlier, is something that I not necessarily like, especially in a country like Australia where it gets hot. So red brick is not, I like the texture of brick, but not so much the redness or the color of it, because like I said, the red is gonna date it. So what we did is we kept the texture, but we just painted it white, and that makes it a little bit lighter and a bit more cleaner and fresher, as if it's not that old of a building. So moving on to stairs, we just ended up not using stairs because remember, the building kind of came forward and we didn't have to use the handrails, so that went away because now you have a wall on each side. Or if he's going to end up going with the option where the wall is more forward to the street, then you don't even need the stairs at all. But that's something that it could have easily been fixed if we didn't end up having those two portions added on the side. You can have, you know, like floating steps, or you can have something that kind of goes diagonal, something that looks like this. It would look really nice and it will not look very old and dated. I feel like the word for this video is dated. Okay, moving on now to the sauce. The awning, we got rid of the awning because we didn't end up needing it, again because the building got pushed forward. And for the gutter, of course we just changed the gutter, and I kind of dropped the idea of having a copper gutter, but I don't know, it's really expensive. So, but bonus point, if you can have a copper gutter, it really brings that facade to, you know, it's like the ultimate premium look. If you can have that, it shows that your facade is really nice. So that's pretty much everything we did for this facade. And I mean, something quick here I want to mention, just this concept, so the house kind of looks a little bit lived in, and also an arched door, because the client was leaning more towards modern, but the house, the bone were way too traditional. So we had to meet somewhere in the middle, and an arched door soften it a little bit, and it gives that transitional look that, you know, I am traditional but not too traditional. I have a little bit of pizzazz, and I think the arched door is a really nice touch to add to these type of facade styles. And I think that's pretty much everything I covered in this facade. Of course, landscaping, that's just, it's a no-brainer. If you can do work on the landscaping, it's really gonna elevate the look of your facade instantly. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to share with you. This video was basically just to show people that you don't really need a big facade or a big house to start with. You can start with something very modest, and then with some mindful design decisions, you can turn it into something really nice. And that's pretty much it. If you like this video, leave me a thumbs up, like, share, do all that YouTubey stuff. And of course, I'm gonna leave a quick PDF summary of the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.